Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us, no matter what platform you might be viewing us on. I'm excited about today's segment. I'm going to be speaking with author Cornelius J Maxwell. He wrote a book I had a chance to read called Unapologetically, I Am a Man. We'll talk to Cornelius not only about the writing of the book, had a great conversation with Cornelius on the radio show Conversations Live, so we're excited to bring this conversation down to a visual platform. If you guys are not following Cornelius, of course we'll let you guys know where to be able to find him, as well as, of course, how you guys can get your copy of the book. I've already written my review on Amazon.com, so I definitely encourage you all, if you have not been able to hear about the book before, definitely head over to Amazon and read the reviews there. The book is doing really well. But I think the great thing about this book with Cornelius is the message. The message really is about not only, of course, taking some pride in who you are, but realizing who you are, who you were created to be, and then, of course, being able to carry on the conversation about how we can be able to move forward together. It's a powerful conversation, and glad to be able to share with all of you. Again, we thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. Again, my guest is Cornelius J Maxwell, the author of this book, Unapologetically, I Am a Man, available right now on Amazon.com. So again, I do encourage you guys to be able to get your own copy. Cornelius will be sharing with you guys as well how you can stay connected with you. He's doing a lot of great work, really using his platform well to be able to connect with individuals, to inspire them, but also to show them what's possible. And I think that is the big thing. Hello to you, Deb. Hope all is well with you. Glad to be able to see you. I was just saying I'm excited about this episode of our program. And there is Cornelius. Going to go ahead and bring him in. And we'll book Unapologetically, I Am a Man. Again, it's a great message for all of us to be able to take in. Cornelius, hello to you, sir.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, man. Glad to see you. So look, man, we had a great conversation. I'm just sharing with our audience on Conversations Live, the radio show. But let our visual audience know, Cornelius, what has it been like for you to see the response to the book?
Like I said in our last conversation, man, it's been humbling, amazing to see the feedback. And like I said, it was one of those things, man, I prayed about it. And to go forward and to see the positive responses, it's just been a blessing. Mm-hmm. And it's inspiring as well. So, like I said, it's just a blessed position to be in. It's just how I feel.
Right. You know, there are a lot of great conversation pieces in this book, Cornelius. We're going to talk more about that. But I think, you know, you and I talked about it on the radio show. You know, there's a bit of history here. There it is. There's a bit of history here, but also a bit of self-reflection, but also a call to action. So did you know going into the book that you wanted it to be a look backwards, but also how we can move forward?
It turned that way. My actions was, like I said, I was inspired by Dr. King. Mm-hmm. And his last protest, I Am a Man. Right. And, you know, and from there, it just, like I said, I just prayed about it, and I prayed about each poem, and I said, you know, and I was just like, look, God, what's next? And I really want to educate the people, and I want to leave a legacy that inspires as many people, as numerous as the stars in the sky. Right. And, you know, and doing so, I just kept praying, and one thing led to the next, led to the next, and, you know, and then it turned out to be the finished product. Next thing you know, I had a finished product. And right. it was just like, wow, as I said, even just writing the book and putting my team together for the book and seeing the vision of the book was just amazing, because the way it worked out, it's all envisioned towards my anointing and my destiny. The way I feel like the book really captures a lot of that in there as well. So it's right. Yeah, and I'm loving I'm loving how people are taking it as well. Like, I'm just loving that. Right. So I have to ask you, because the title is Unapologetically, I Am a Man. So how did you get to a place, Cornelius? Because a lot of people, because of the way they grew up, because of what they're told, they don't see their own value, right? They don't realize their worth. How did you get to a place, and I know we talked about it on the radio, but for our audience here, how did you get to a place where you realized your value and your worth and your contribution to the world? Yeah, like I said, I talked about my story when I was in the military and when I was in Iraq, and how I started to really start to get a real glimpse of my purpose and my destiny. With, you know, God showing himself, revealing himself to me, and I'm starting to understand, you know, that calling. And it was just like, wow. But like I said, when I came with the title Unapologetically, I'm a Man, like I said, it was based upon MLK's, you know, protest. And it was like with my own struggles and my, the statement that I wanted to make. And even the poem is a declaration. It's a declaration about me being an individual as a man, and instead of being treated as second-class citizen, but as an individual, as a man who is, who's treated as a man according to law and by the law, and not, like I said, not as a slave class. And because I think, and I really believe that America could really be that country to be the very first superpower that doesn't have a slave class. We talked about that before, the ancient Romans and the ancient Egyptians, all the, famous superpower, countries and dynasties and empires, and how they always had a slave class. And I think that America really could be that country that doesn't have one, and that everyone can have the opportunities to be successful without being looked down upon.
Right. And I think that's the thing, right? I think being able to get to a place where you can be able to realize who you are and what you can be. There are two poems I wanted to reference in this conversation, Cornelius. One is Change the Way We Think. For those who have the print edition of the book, it's found on page 36. I wanted to read a couple things you said in that poem and have us talk about it here. You said this in this particular poem: slavery generationally has taught us so many bad habits. Like when people see our skin, they feel the urge to pull the slide back and clap it. Black on black, police on black, even the judicial system on black, and there's no slack on it. Perpetuating the cycle without an answer on how to solve it. For lack of faith in the Most High, we won't atone for it. So, and you go on to talk about other things in that poem, but one of the big things is about, really what we've been hearing a lot about, the stain of racism and bigotry. What has it been like for you to confront that stain, Cornelius, through your book, but also to remind people of how we can be able to move forward together?
Yes, that's why I put that in there, change the way we think. Mm-hmm. Because I looked at situations, not just what I've seen on the news, but my own personal situations, right? And when I said slavery generation taught us so many bad habits, I was referring to America in general. Because it has this look that, if you're black, you're second class. You're beneath the people. You're below standard. And that's not true. And that's why I went on here to the next one and said, when people see our skin, they feel the urge to pull the slide back and clap it. It's like, oh, we're a target. And because, the rumor says I'm a threat to you. And I even take my own personal experiences, like, with my older brother. He has autism. And, and a lot of times he'll run in front of a car because he don't sense danger. And people try to speed up to hit us and yell the N-word at us and throw stuff at us. And we're just trying to, protect our brother. Right. Or sometimes he'll run in people's house because he doesn't sense danger. He doesn't talk. And sometimes people pull a blade out on us, like a butcher knife or a gun on us. And I'm like, wait, stop. He has a disability. We're just trying to get him out. We're just trying to get him in and out. So, and it was just one of those things that it was like people instantly, like, we were little kids, like we were like 8 years old, and just for society to say, I'm such a threat to you that you feel like a child is that much of a threat to you, and you're an adult, and I'm like 60 pounds soaking wet at the time. And I'm not that much of a threat to you. But because you bought into that stereotype, you feel that I'm a threat to you, no matter what age. And so that was part of even my struggles. Plus, I looked at, other people struggle with historically behind racism, how people feel like, oh man, we got to shoot them. And it's like, that's just wrong. And I feel that way. Plus, and then I go in depth when I talk about the black on black, that's just, it goes back to creating a slave and the slave process of, self-hatred, right? Because, and competition and lacking a birthright, because you're saying, okay, we're the same culture, we're all American, but yet this is not my birthright. My birthright says I have to rob you. My birthright says I have to steal from you. I have to sell you drugs. I have to be negative, because you have that negative or that cursed birthright, and not a birthright that perpetuates the pride of your family name and things of that nature. And I even looked at the police system and how it's like so many of my friends that I know, they turn around and like they've been jumped by police officers, and police have been extra aggressive. And not all times are, sometimes, as black people, we can be in the wrong, but not all the time we're in the wrong. And I know that happens across the board, different cultures, but I can only talk about my experiences and stuff like that. So, And with that is like I can see that, and I see how painful it is in the judicial system, how it's just us and not just justice. It's not fair, and we see that historically as well. It's not a fair system, and if justice is supposed to be blind, how's it blind if you pick and choose? And we understand that it's all about the prison system being, privatized and profitable, and you have to meet a quota. But prison system shouldn't be privatized and meet a quota at the expense of people's lives. Yeah. And so then I refer to perpetuating the cycle because it just keeps happening generation to generation to generation. And then I went to the next part where I was saying, for lack of faith in the Most High, we want to atone for it, because if this country was founded upon biblical principles, right? The Bible and God, one nation under God. And when you look at those principles, they refer to atonement. If you do wrong by others, you have to atone for that wrong. And America's never done that. We've never tried to do right in this aspect, because when you look at the definition of atonement and to atone for something, it means forgiveness, right? To seek forgiveness. Right. And to seek forgiveness to a point to where you create a system that heals the victim, but it also creates redemption for the perpetrator. And America hasn't done that. We just pull a Band-Aid over and say, oh, take this, take that. All right, get over it. And when you tell folks to get over generations worth of pain, and you're looking at, when you talk to your parents, you see their pain, and you talk to your grandparents, you see their pain, and you talk to their great-grandparents, you hear their pain, and they're telling you about your great-great-grandparents and their pain. You feel that pain, and it's perpetual. And we need to come to a point in America, we need to change the way we think, because if we don't change the way we think, it keeps happening. And that's why I was saying as well that we change the way we think, but change, we have a decision to make, and it begins with you, the individual, to start to stop it. Change. It's an individual thing. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's such a good point, Cornelius. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. Cornelius J Maxwell is our guest. He's the author of this book, Unapologetically, I Am a Man. It's available through our friends at Amazon.com. We're going to let you guys know how to stay connected with Cornelius as well. Cornelius, the other poem I wanted to mention actually asks the question, what is it to be black? But I wanted to ask it in relation to the cover of the book, because I think even as you talked about the generations, right? I mean, decisions can definitely be made. So what is it like for you to be able to show people that regardless how people see them, regardless of what people might expect or not expect of them, how they can be able to change things. They can be able to change how they are perceived, but also not go in the direction of a certain way because that's what people expect.
That goes with the mentality, the mindset, right? Right. And that's why I put on the cover is the mentality, is the mindset. But you got to have that mindset to want to see that there's a change. If you don't know there's an issue, you don't know it's beginning to change. So first it comes to the level of consciousness. And that's what I wanted to create in this book, a level of consciousness. If it strikes you, then, okay, well, I do think that way. Maybe I might need to make this adjustment, or maybe I need to make that adjustment. And that's really why I wanted to get on that level, to start with that consciousness. And from the consciousness, it leads to conviction, because you say, man, am I that person? And then you say, you know what? I don't want to be that person. Or you can say, I do want to be that person, right? It depends on how you want to change. And then from there, you can start creating a structure for your life that creates the change. And that, like I said, this is on an individual level, and then you can start teaching that to others as you start to create systems and processes for your life in accordance to that change. Yeah.
So Cornelius, I mean, in spite of what you have gone through, in spite of what you've seen, and even what you write about, what keeps you optimistic? Because you have an optimistic outlook like I do. What is it that helps you to stay optimistic?
I believe that first and foremost, like I said, I was a Christian, and I believe in the Most High, and I'm saved, and I believe that it gives us motivation, right? And desire, passion, purpose, and a will to want to do so. And I'm driven by that because I believe that this is my purpose. I was born for this. I believe that this is my anointing, my divine purpose. And And it's like, I'm loving this. And if I was like, I can do this for free. I'm driven to do this because I believe like I was born to do this. And, and that's why it was so important to me on that level, because like I said, I feel like I was born for this. I was born for this calling. It's like I've always, when I've seen the struggle, I feel like I have to speak out. Even as a little kid, like I have to speak out. And it's like, I think it started when I was like maybe like 5 years old. I really like felt the need. You know, I really didn't know how to, you know, younger age. But when I was 5, it was like, I think it was like maybe in kindergarten, and the teacher was sending all the black kids in timeout, and for no reason. We'd be outside playing at recess, and all the black kids got to go in timeout and be in the corner, and all the other kids get to play and enjoy themselves and be free, you know. And it was just like one of those things. So I asked my mom, I was like, why does this teacher, when that teacher comes out, the teacher always put all the black kids in timeout for no reason? So my mom came and looked over the fence at the school, and I'm just by myself shooting a basketball, you know, playing ball. And the teacher came and put all the black kids in timeout. And my dad was in the Army at the time, and she also called my dad. So my dad took off work and watched. And they did this for a few days, you know, to see if it was just a consistent thing. And they turned around and got the principal. Now the principal started watching. And this went on, you know, my parents with the principal, they watched all together for about a week or so, and they seen all the black kids in timeout. And it made me realize, even at that young age, just like, that person was trying to put a lesson in our lives that we didn't belong in society. We didn't belong with everybody else because everybody else was able to be free and enjoy, and yet who we all, you know, in punishment, like other words, locked up. And we didn't belong. And even if we wasn't bothering nobody, they would come and make it known that we don't belong. And I started to realize that in kindergarten, when I was at 5 years old, 4 years old. And so I've been seeing life from this perspective, and so that's why I feel like I have to make a change. I've been inspired to make a change. It's like something different has to happen, and I just can't be the one who doesn't say anything or try to do something and make things different, because it's been so many generations of this. And I feel like I feel like that, like I said, I was born to do this because of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a great thing, and you're using your voice in a powerful way, Cornelius, and our audience can see that. Again, everyone, Cornelius J Maxwell has been our guest. The book is Unapologetically, I Am a Man. It's available through our friends at Amazon.com. Great book, already doing really well there on Amazon, so definitely invite you guys to get your own copy of it. And Cornelius, how can they stay connected with you, man?
Sure, they can go to my website at mr-maxwell.com. I do public speaking as well. And you can reach me there. You can reach me on social media, Cornelius J Maxwell. You can go in the search and find me, and I'll pop up. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. So, yeah, that's an easy way to find me. So, all
right. Well, Cornelius, great conversation with the man. Really enjoyed this, and looking forward to our next chat together.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it as well, and I thank you for having me, and I thank you for your audience for having me. And like always, man, you know, having a conversation was always amazing. It's a great conversation with you.
Well, man, I appreciate that. Same with you. And we do thank you, as Cornelius says, thank you for joining us for this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys came in late, depending on which way you guys are joining us, you guys can always catch the replay. Also, you'll find it on our YouTube channel as well. I appreciate you all being with us. I'll let to you, Liz. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying, make it a great one.